Right, Zoom and YouTube preparing the live stream, setting up the meeting, and we are live. What's going on, Matt?
What's going on with you? How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm good. Market's up a bit today, so I'm heavily long, so I am happy.
Are people happier, of course, when it's just screen, right? For the most part.
I think we have a natural tendency to want things to go up instead of down. You know, like most people, if you look at them, you'd be like, "Hey, you buy a stock, it go. What do you want it to do?" And he's like, "I want it to go up, of course." Like, yeah, that's how you make money. Buy low, sell high, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so I think as people, we want to be more positive and when things are going up, especially stocks, that means that the company's doing well, they're selling more stuff, they got more customers, everything is happy and rosy. But when stocks are going down, it's like, oh, they're going out of business. It really goes against the personality or the psychology of most people. At least
Well,
I
I mean,
think
it's
so.
wired into let's say you're going down the road with your car, you hit a stoplight, red, green, go, right? So we're wired that way, just to think of like, red's bad, green's good, you
Yeah.
know?
hmm Yep, yep. Red also is a color for war as well as anger.
Right. I
Green
mean,
is the color of
this could be the topic right here. I mean,
green is the color of money. So yeah, it's all psychologically motivated. Uh, and like
but I will say this, I will cut in and say this with market power. Our lovely program, market power method. We're
mhm,
happy whether it's red or green.
yes.
Sometimes
I mean that's how
down
you
day or an up day.
yeah, that's how you can really make money, right? And that's if it goes up or it goes down, you should be able to play it and trade the market that you have. That's what I keep saying. You
Yep.
trade what you got, not what you want. Like it's not going to go up every day. So, um, you do have like hedge funds, right? That's how they became popular, and that's it's in the name. Because before you had like mutual funds and they were all long. They can only buy stuff and they make money when the stocks go up. But then the hedge fund came out and said like, well, wait a minute. What if we protect ourselves when things go down? Oh, crazy concept. And at that time it was. And so they became very popular. Now, of course, hedge fund means nothing. They can do whatever they want, long, short, leverage. It makes no difference. But at that time, it was a revolutionary concept um, even now. So let's see what SPX is up almost 75% of 1%. Rut's down. Oil is down 1%. Dollar is down. Nasdaq is up over 1%. The Dow is up 0.3. Gold is down a little bit. VIX is down to it's almost below 17. That's good. Um, Bitcoin is also up today, up to 116,000 coin.
Yep.
Um, that one, like, I thought it'd be higher now. I think we should do like a whole session on that one, but I'll tell you,
Yeah, I mean, fascinating, fascinating topic.
I think Bitcoin is broken. To be honest, I think it's broken.
How
I
could it
think
be
it's broken.
broken?
I think Wall Street broken. Um, because
There's no way. It's how do you break open source code?
not in that sense, but as an investment, as a
Hmm.
thing, as a deterrent, as a hedge. Bitcoin was supposed to be at first, it was supposed to be a currency. That never worked because I mean nobody's using it to buy pizzas anymore, right? Like if you gotta get if Bitcoin goes up and you buy something with it, you're gonna pay tax on it. So you're gonna pay income tax and capital gains tax and all that other tax on top of paying for the thing that you buy. So currency didn't work, but at least it was uncorrelated to the stock market. So before you had the Bitcoin ETFs, before you had Wall Street jump into Bitcoin with both hands, if the market, SPX or markets went down, stocks went down, bonds went down, economy was going bad, Bitcoin actually held its value and might even go up. And that was the allure of it. It was kind of similar to gold. Like, okay, when things go crazy, you can hide in Bitcoin. It's secure. It's not going to go down just because the stock market or the economy is going down because it's not related to the economy. That changed. Now, if you look at it, I mean,
Oh,
it goes up when the market's up and it's down when the market is down.
see,
Because,
I have a different standpoint on that.
well, I mean, take a look at it. Like Wall Street is now the largest owner of Bitcoin. The different companies that own it, the different funds that own it, the different ETFs that own it. Wall Street owns more Bitcoin than the individual investor, the at-home guy, the hodler. And because of that, it has been correlated to the stock market. Because let's say bad news comes out, these funds, these ETFs, all these guys, they need to sell. And so they're going to sell everything, including their Bitcoin, and that's going to push it down. So, um, it's big. I think that's why I'm saying it's broken because now it's correlated to the stock market. It's just become another trading instrument. You could either put your money in a ETF with Bitcoin, or you could put it in an ETF of the S&P 500. And they're both going to move together, up and down together. They're not uncorrelated. So, if you take a look at gold, right? The last several months, gold has been doing great. Why? Because it's uncorrelated. We had the tariff meltdown, the Liberation Day Part 1, then Liberation Day Part 2. What happened to gold? Nothing. Still all-time highs. And it still goes higher, higher and higher. I mean, it's kind of stabled out right now, but it has been making highs over and over again. And that's not the same for Bitcoin.
I think, see, I put Bitcoin into an early adoption, right? It's seen as a store of value, right? I think that you know,
Yeah,
gold is six
it's a
thousand
thing.
years old, right? I mean, and you got Bitcoin that's 16 years old.
Uh-huh.
Um, if you look at Bitcoin, yeah, it's not going away. Okay, so you look at that, 16 years old, it has gone nothing but up. If you look at it, it's beating everything at the pants off of everything, even
Okay.
Nvidia, and big tech stocks. Um, it is a store of value, I think. That's where it is in its adoption cycle. So people will, when there's fear in the stock market, they will tend to go over to Bitcoin, I think. As it gets more adopted, I think they'll go into it more, but obviously people will go into gold, I think, as the stock market falls. People are going to sell their stocks, get into gold, get into Bitcoin. Um, but I think it's too early to tell with it, right? As far as the adoption part.
I mean, 16 years.
16 years, but I mean, it is something that they're taking notice of. And I don't think you could say 16 years, it's not going away
No,
for
I
sure.
don't think it's going away. I think it's here now that it's been adopted, now that the government's working on regulations and all that. I think it's here. Um, I think Ethereum is more stabilized. I think we talked about this last time that Bitcoin is uh, gold, right?
2.0.
Digital gold, right? Ethereum is digital oil because it's the blockchain of Ethereum is the one that is behind all of the DeFi networks and a lot of what Wall Street is doing to decentralize and use it and make it simpler and easier to use and cheaper to use and all that stuff. So I think Ethereum is going to be around. I think both of them are going to be around. I just don't see it as Bitcoin as a like, okay, if the market's going to go down, I'm going to buy Bitcoin, and it's going to be the opposite reaction. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it comes down to supply, right? Bitcoin's fixed, Ethereum's not, right? I think that you have a lot of companies out there that are starting to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, right? In a way to um, get ahead of inflation. So if you're a company, you have a lot of cash, right? And you're going to throw it in, are you going to throw it into a bond, right? That makes a government treasury that makes, what, 3, 4, 5%? Or are you going to put it into something that um, is making 40%, like Bitcoin?
Right. But then the only way to get that 40% is to sell it, what they're not doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're seeing is the manipulate. I mean, that's the wrong word, but you see it with the ETFs, right? So they can sell those ETFs just like they can get into them. So it messes with the supply a little bit.
Yeah. But you have like what was it, micro strategy, right?
Mhm.
The guy just keeps buying more and more and more Bitcoin, but
He
he
buys at the
doesn't
top, buys at the bottom, buys at the top. He's yeah.
but he doesn't sell.
Mm-mm.
So, I mean, his company is basically whatever the Bitcoin value is worth, that's what his company is worth, even though it's supposed to be a software company. Um, I don't know why he's getting paid so much to do that. Like if I was a
Well,
shareholder, I'd be like, hey,
I
wait a minute.
I
I can
think
do this. Any idiot can do the same thing.
he's interesting because he's offering all these products, right, to the traditional people. If you want a bond, he has a bond, right? He's offering 10% on a bond. Would you go to a traditional bond, a treasury, and get 3 or 4 or 5%, or would you go to MicroStrategy 10%? That's the
I,
question.
I don't like his risk. I mean, as a bond investor, I want to know number one that I'm going to get my money back, right? And if you have a bond that is based on the price of Bitcoin, if Bitcoin is going to go down, he's not going to be able to pay my bond. He's not going to be able to pay me. And the more he sells, the more price will go down, and then the less value he'll have, and the less money he'll have to pay me even further. So it's like a deathward spiral. If Bitcoin
Yeah,
prices start going down, um, you're gonna see all of these guys, all of these companies that own this stuff head for the hills and sell and sell and sell, and that's gonna be uh, a sell-off like we've never seen.
yeah. I think it's a there is the case for that, right? You're going to see more and more micro strategies out there. And
Mhm.
I don't know whether MicroStrategy has their balance sheet figured out, whether they can pay your bond if they have a 70% drawdown. I don't know that for
Right.
sure. I don't think anyone knows that, but
Yeah.
um, there's no doubt that it's being adopted. It's got a limited supply, right? You have services that are being built off of Bitcoin, where you have a Bitcoin backed loan, right? That's not taxable. So you're going to see people go into this space, hold Bitcoin, and then do a loan off of that Bitcoin
Yeah,
without
and then
selling the
they
asset, which
and
I
then
think long term,
they use
well,
that to buy. No,
it's
but they
nothing new, right, Alan? It's nothing new,
no, it's just
right?
collateral. It's collateral, but they're using
Collateral.
that to buy more Bitcoin.
For some people, yeah. If you have a long term look at it, then maybe that's the way you go.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, I looked at it myself. I'm like, okay, how much leverage can I get into Bitcoin? And I think you can get up to 100 times leverage. It's
uh,
crazy, crazy numbers.
most of them I think will take 2 times. So if you have a loan for, you put up $1,000 in Bitcoin, for example, you get $500 loan in cash.
No, no, but like if you want to buy more,
Oh,
if you want to use your collateral to go and buy more, they
mhm.
do loan you up to 100 times. And
Yeah.
it's and like some of these guys, on the Reddit and the forums and whatever, they're like, "Oh yeah, I just made $600 million." Like, how'd you do that? Oh, because I borrowed at, 50 times when I
Right. There's
had.
nothing new under the sun. I mean, these people are leveraged. I mean,
That's insane. And then then they give it back. So
right.
it's like,
Like
oh
anything,
man.
there's intelligent leverage and there's wackadoo leverage.
Yes, yes. So I was looking at that and I'm like, okay, let me see. But then I build out. But um, anyway, so let's get to what's going on today, right? So we were live on Friday and we had the jobs number come out.
Mhm.
A jobs number came in under 100,000, and that was a negative. Not only that, but then the other jobs reports for the last 2 3 months, they were also revised down. So the actual, like, the moving average of jobs, new jobs, right, was much lower than what we thought. Trump blew a gasket, tried to fire the guy. I don't know if the guy's fired or not. I think, like they're
I mean,
fighting.
at a base level, it doesn't instill very much confidence in the
No,
numbers, right? I
right.
mean, come
Yeah.
on.
But over the weekend, people have been talking about it yesterday, today, Monday, and there's been a lot of trying to understand, like, okay, what happened? Why are these numbers so crazy? And so from what I can tell, there were a couple of reasons. Number one, um, and we've talked about this, but these two issues are things that are kind of in people's minds, but they're not really relating it to this, right? So number one is the adoption of AI in companies. Now, what I found is that most normal people are not using AI very much. But if you're working at an office job, small company, big company, whatever, you are now using AI a lot more than you were before. And you find that, hey, I can do a lot of work in a lot less time, and it's a lot cheaper. So I'll give you an example. My mom, she passed away about a year ago. And so my dad, he had a trust, all the stuff was in the trust, and the trust was written so that if he died, everything goes to her, and then everything would come down to me. Now, my dad is like, hey, we don't have to, but I want to have this redone. Because there was some other stuff in there that we worked out, and we want to switch around, um, and all that stuff. So we went back to the lawyer that built all the wrote the trust and did everything, and he's like, yeah, sure, tell me what you want, what changes you want to make, da 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 da. And he's like, okay, so my minimum charge is $3,500, and we're like, wait a minute, that's like five things to change. It's not a big deal. You're not doing it from scratch, right? You already have it on a Word document. You just
Hmm?
need to change the names. Not that hard. And he's like, yeah, I know, but it's my minimum fee. So that's what I charge, $3,500. So we're
You're like,
like,
not anymore.
yeah, no, and no, I don't think so. So my dad's like, I'm not paying that. So we took all the files, we left. He went online. He found a firm in India online that is a bunch of paralegals. So he asked them, he's like, hey, I have this trust. I need to make some changes. Can you do it? And they're like, yeah, sure, we can redo it for you, no problem. $1,500. So my dad was like, oh, cool, I'm gonna save 2,000 bucks. It's like, okay, cool. And then I was like, why don't we just make the changes ourselves? It's like we just have to get the PDF document.
Hmm?
Well, he didn't have PDF, so he had to scan them. So he scanned the documents. We took PDF, turned it into Word, and then I started looking at him. I'm like, oh, this is a lot of changes. I don't want to mess this up.
Right.
So I went over to my trusty new best friend, Mr. Chat GPT, and I gave it the file. I said, here's the file. This is a trust, and I need to make some changes. And the thing's like, okay, great. What do you want to change? I'm like, I need to change this. I need to change this, change this, change this, da, 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 da. And he goes, okay, would you like this other document that comes with it that shows you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we need that. Okay, make me that. And then it was like, oh, would you like to, do it this way, or would you like to do it in Texas law way? And I'm like, oh, I want to do the Texas law way. Okay, you go to Texas. Just keep that. Because the other way had like a witness and stuff, but in Texas you don't need witnesses, so we took that off the document. And there were a couple other things, and I mean it took all of maybe 15-20 minutes to do that, and we saved 3,500 bucks, and it was done. Now all he has to do, my dad just has to go and notarize it and sign in front of a notary, and it's done. The whole thing is done. So I don't think, so like now what happens to the lawyer that was supposed to do this? What happens to the paralegal that the lawyer was going
Right.
to give the work to? Because the lawyer's
It's
not going to
a
do it. He's going to give it to
cascading
it.
effect
He's going to give it to the
across.
assistant,
Yeah.
right? And so that's just one person. There's across legal aspects, most of legal work is paperwork. And now don't need it anymore.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's one industry, one aspect, one idea of jobs that are going away, but nobody's talking about this. And
They don't
so
want to talk about
no, they
it.
don't. And we're going to talk about Palantir coming up, but the Palantir on the earnings call a couple days ago, the guy said that they now have Fannie Mae as one of their customers. Right? Fannie Mae is the government agency that secures all the mortgages and all that stuff. And whenever Fannie Mae has an issue with a mortgage, they have to do like a mortgage audit when there's a fraud, when they suspect fraud.
Mhm.
And they have a process, and then they have people that are assigned to it. It takes them 2 months to identify and to do the whole process to go through and see if there's fraud in a mortgage or not, in one mortgage. Now that they've started using Palantir and AI, it's done in 20 minutes. 2 months to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And so how many people just got laid off at Fannie Mae, right? And these are all white collar jobs. They're not like, bricklayers and street pavers. These are white collar jobs that people are making very decent, good money that they went to college for. They got their bachelor's and they got their master's and they're making serious money and they're probably and we see this all the time at OptionGenius, right?
Mhm.
We used to see it in the tech field, but now we're seeing it in younger kids too. Like the ideal was, hey, I'm in my 50s and I make, you know, well over $100,000 a year. I have 2 kids or 3 kids in private school. We have our own house. We have a couple cars. We have a very nice life because I was making really good money. But
Mhm.
now, because I hit a certain age or whatever, I just got laid off and they gave my job to, a 20-year-old kid who makes, a quarter of what I make. What the hell do I do now? I'm too old to get another job that pays me the same amount of money. I need to learn how to trade. And
Right. Let alone any debt they're sitting on, right?
yeah, right. And
Before
so
that equation.
yeah, so I mean, off the top of my head, I can count like okay, we know this guy was in that situation and he learned how to trade. We know this guy, just I don't go the names, but Anders was one, right? Thompson was another one. Um, Paul was another one, and they're all in the same boat that we took them and then we taught them and they're trading now. But what happens to the guy who's only in his 30s and he gets laid off from AI because they don't need him anymore and that job is not there anymore? So more and more people are going to have to learn other ways to make money. And I don't know if it's universal income or if everybody is going to start selling options. That would be fine with me. The more the
I'd
merrier.
rather have the option route than universal income. Just saying
Yeah,
that.
right. Because then we'd be paying out of our pockets to pay for
Yeah.
everybody else. Um,
Um,
right. So that was one aspect. I'm trying to not get off track. So one aspect of the jobs number was the AI and how that's affecting people and how companies are not hiring more people because of AI. Um, then there is the other aspect of, and the jobs number is really how many new jobs were people
Created.
hired for, right? How many were they created? People they posted a job, somebody applied, they said yes, so now there's a new worker in the field. But what we haven't talked about, and what I haven't heard anybody in the media talking about this, is the effect of the ICE, the immigration. There are lots and lots, maybe millions of immigrants in this country, whether they're here legally or illegally, who are now scared. They're
Hmm.
fearful of going out into the public. They're fearful of having to get a job and going and driving there, coming back, and all this stuff. And it's only increasing every single day. So you have a large segment of the population that is no longer looking for jobs, or maybe they're trying to look for something online. Again, maybe they're trying to trade it. I don't know, but ICE, you see the stories like, oh, ICE came to this construction site and they arrested everybody.
Well,
ICE went to this the church parking lot and they arrested everybody. And I think
I can
you
say I have a personal example right here. I mean, I live in, the Panhandle of Florida. I'm in a relatively new community they're building, right?
Mhm.
Um, Before all the crackdowns, we had workers every day. You could hear just boom, 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 putting up houses. It has slowed completely, right? So it's like, where did everyone go, right? It's You are
Yeah.
right. No one's talking about it. There's another article I saw today about how I think it's a peach farm, right? And all the crops are going bad because no one's there to pick them, right? No one's there to process all this stuff. So um, it's changing everything.
So maybe the numbers that we're looking at, are they're not going to be going up for now until something changes. And maybe the numbers of new jobs continues to go down. And then I think we have to look at productivity, right? So yes, fewer people are working because of AI, but the ones that are working are more productive. And so GDP is actually going to increase to some degree or stay stable until the people who are getting laid off by the AI can actually find something else to do, which is going to be really hard because that's going to take a lot of retraining and whatnot. So those were the things that nobody talked about that I wanted to bring up and say, hey, you know what? This might not be completely bad, but it might be different than what the market is thinking. And the market is thinking that, oh, the market went down a lot. Why? Because, oh, no, the economy is going bad. Well, not necessarily. It's not exactly that the economy is going bad or people are getting laid off or of that nature, but it is the nature of the job market itself is changing. And so because of this, right, we want to make money off this. So how do we play this? How do we make money? And I think the idea here is that the Fed has now looked at this job number and they have, their dual mandates. They have to look at inflation, which is still higher than they want, but they also have to look at the jobs and make sure the job market is good and, people are working that want to work and whatnot. And because of that, now the idea is, okay, the Fed is probably going to cut rates more than they wanted to before, or more they were thinking about doing before. So now the idea, the odds are that we're going to have three cuts this year. Before it was the Fed came out and said we're going to have two cuts this year, and then it became maybe one. Now we're up to three. So we have three meetings left in the year.
Better get
We
cutting.
yeah, exactly, right? So so they might have a cut in each one, or they might skip one and have two cuts. But definitely the Fed is now ready to get back into the game of cutting rates. And so what happens when rates get cut? Stocks go up most of the time, depending on the reasoning, right? In this
Right.
case, it's not inflation that's causing it or inflation causing it to go down, but inflation's kind of steady, jobs number. But if you look between the lines and you realize, okay, jobs are because of AI, which is more productive, and because of fewer people trying to find the menial labor jobs, that might be okay. It might be enough for the economy to sustain and keep growing. And so if they lower rates, hey, that's a great thing, and that will offset all of the tariff issues that we got going on. And so I named this episode or this today's version, "Buckle Up, the market's about to do this," and it, in my opinion, the market's about to start going higher, much higher. I know we're already, very close to all-time highs already, but I think once they start cutting,
Yeah.
um, at least the first one, we're gonna have a good several percent point move higher in the market. And then based on the information or the news that comes out, the data that comes out, if they keep cutting, we'll have to see, how it reacts to that. But I think for now, this is I think this one, the first one, is not going to be a sell the news event, where the market goes up in advance and then when the news comes
Right.
out,
You're
it goes
waiting and
down.
it just happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen. I think it's going to continue to go up afterwards. And then
Yeah.
maybe on the second one or the third one, then it'll be like, okay, yeah, I think we've cut too much. Let me sell. So I think that at that point the market will drop. But for now, for the next, month or two, I think we're in rally mode. And I mentioned earlier that, hey, I'm positioning my account to be very bullish. And
I think so.
so I think that's happy. So like a day like today, SPX is up 0.8%. My account or the whole account is up several percent because of the way it's positioned. So um, I'm happy on today. So,
Yeah, I
but
think it's a little bit of like a powder keg, right? You keep having these meetings, right? And I think the market is anticipating this cut, right? They kind of been dangling the carrot the whole year. They're like, okay, yeah, we're going to do this many cuts, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're going to do less cuts. No, we may do a cut. Now it's going the other way, right? So when that cut does happen, I think it's like a green light to the market, right? And it's going to take off.
yeah, it's like it's about time, right? This is the markets are like, hey, it's about
I
time. We
mean,
wanted this, so let's do this and let's go. Move it.
think about how many times you like are disappointed in something, right? And then all of a sudden you get that, oh, here we go. That's how I think the market's gonna take off here.
Yep. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm positioned. One of my new, actually, it's not my new favorite. It's probably the one stock that I've made the most on of all time is TQQQ,
Yep, you love that
which
one.
is three times the Nasdaq. I've been a buy and holder of this one for years and years, and I know that they say that you're not supposed to buy and hold it, right? Because it's leveraged and they have to rebalance it every day and blah blah blah, and you lose money. But I have found that it has just regularly outperformed everything else, all the other stocks that I have out there, including QQQ that I have in some accounts, right? In some
Mhm.
places, but the TQQQ has just been crushing. Um, and
Well, just think of the
so,
outlook with AI. I mean, where is it gonna go, right? If you think out into the future,
yep.
you're buy and hold, and you can do that, right? That's the key. I think you're gonna be in a good spot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's we're doing that there. Oil's kind of fallen off now, down 1.5%. It's been up and down all day today.
Yeah, I mean, it was what? It was down yesterday, I believe. Bounced back up, then down again. So, um, which kind of segues into the whole Russia, right? With their sanction India, right?
Yep.
With oil.
25%
And
extra. So they were
yep.
already at 25, now they're at 25% more. So everything coming out of India is 50% more expensive now.
Do you think they're gonna, what do you think is gonna happen there?
I think it's temporary. I think they'll come up with something. Um,
Trump's part of
but
the deal?
I don't know. I'm glad that he's doing it, in a sense. Like, hey, we told you guys not to mess with us. Um, and India is, their government and the way they act like they're our friends, but they're not really. They just play. I mean, they're looking out for themselves. So,
Yeah, I think at a base level, every country is.
everybody does, yeah. But they're more blatant and showy about it, Nobody knows, everybody knows they're buying it from Russia, and then they're going out and they're just reselling the oil. They're not even, not, they're just, it's like, oh, hey, it's like I can buy it for $5 here, I'll go sell it for 20 over here. Okay. Oh, US doesn't want me to do that. Okay, well, F you. I don't care. Well,
Right.
now now there's gonna be something
But
to
can
do.
we actually enforce,
That
right?
well, we'll see.
That's the thing, right? And I think, we just say, oh, yeah, sanctions are used in just blanket terms, right? We're just like, oh, yeah, we sanctioned so and so, but the question is it actually being enforced? I think is, and for
Well,
what duration, right? I mean, how is this going to play out? So,
yeah. So like I said, I think it's temporary. I think they'll start negotiating now. And hopefully Trump can get something out of it before he drops it.
but
I
he's
don't
got
know.
other fish to fry. He's got the whole Russia thing, that's going to be um, sanctions. What, Friday is the deadline, which
For
is
who
moving.
though? I mean, there's China and India. I don't know who else is gonna say. I don't know who else is involved there. So
Yeah, but I mean,
Myanmar, poor Myanmar. Or
oh,
Myanmar.
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 Or Myanmar. Where are
Yeah.
they on this?
Oh. But yeah, so we'll see what happens. He is definitely giving us more volatility in August than we did have in July.
That is for sure. Yep.
Yeah. So that's been so far it's been wonderful for market power, right?
Yep.
So what was it? Two, how many? We've had two trades,
Two in
first
a
and
row.
two in a
Yep.
row, first and second. I don't know. We might get one today.
We
Looking
might
at
get today. I have to pay attention to this. We
we
could
might
get
get
one
one
today.
today. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's a
Be three in a week.
pretty close.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
So yeah, it'd be three in a week. It's interesting. I was driving today and I was listening to I can tell I'm old. I had instead of listening to music, I had NPR on, right? And
oh,
this guy,
farewell to NPR, right?
yeah, I was like, God, I am
They're
so old. I am so old listening to this, but I
no,
was
but they
interested. I wanted to hear what was going on.
right.
And they talked a lot about times of the year, right? And I'm always, you have a sense of this. When's the best time to trade and when the market kind of goes haywire? And they're always talking about, of course, we have all the big crashes in October, but they talked about August, and August was, you can have a lot of volatility in August sometimes because the big traders are out in the Hamptons, drinking their margaritas and hanging out, and um, the prices can get pushed around quite a bit, right, with liquidity. So I thought that was pretty
Oh,
interesting that you can have some big time movement in August.
yeah. I think that has changed now with all the algorithms and whatnot, and even if you're in the
It could
Hamptons or
be
whatever,
amplified.
you got your laptop with you. You could be like, I know what I'm doing. Okay, it's not the same as before. Have you ever read Jesse Livermore's book?
I have not.
No,
No.
Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, I think it is. Awesome
Oh, you
book.
know what? I actually have. I read like 15 pages. I have it
Yeah,
here.
I love that guy. That was, I mean, he was a master trader. First guy who actually even kind of started using technical analysis without charting. He wasn't charting; it was all in his head.
Right. And they're like,
Uh,
this guy's such a whack. Why would you do that?
yeah, but and this was in the 1920s. He became a multi-millionaire, and then he lost it all. Then he got it back, and then he lost it all. Amazing story. But when you were reading the book, you know how you talk about, oh, going to the Hamptons, right? So he was stressed out, so he went down to Florida. So he had to get in his yacht and go down to Florida. Now, how
What, to
long does
catch some hurricanes? What do you want?
how long does that take, right? To take your slow-moving yacht down the coast from New York all the way down to Florida, and you don't know what the heck is going on in the markets.
No
And
Wi-Fi signal then.
this guy's a millionaire trader, and he doesn't have a clue what's going on, So you get like the Pony Express or something. Oh, your stock went down
Morse
500%.
code. Morse code.
Maybe, yeah, something like that, right? Because they didn't have telephones back then,
Yeah.
1920s. I don't think so. But yeah, that's how he did it. So that was awesome. But when you talk about Hamptons, that's the thing, They go, yeah, they go away and they have no communication. They don't know what's going on. Nowadays, no, it's like
Yeah, I
that.
think we're all connected, right? Obviously.
Yeah. Now it's like
But
Gordon Gekko with the satellite phone everywhere he
it, he's
goes.
like he's like, "Woo,
Yep.
dump it." Um, yeah, it's definitely a different time, of course, but it made for some good, thought about that because you do have a sense as a trader of certain seasonality of things. Whether it's always good to talk about and kind of think about.
Yeah, for sure. NPR did get their funding cut, or the company that runs NPR cut their funding cut thanks to Trump. So we'll see if
I
they're
was like,
around much
how long would
longer.
we be able to listen to this? Is it going to cut out while I'm driving?
But yeah, and then so there was, on the other hand, we're talking about, hey, market's going up, hey, this is reason for the jobs and everything. And there was an economist that came out today and said, hey, yeah, we might be heading into a recession. Now, I don't know. I mean, I think it's more of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna get some headlines and I'll just put the word out
Never know.
there
Mhm.
so that I get some press time. But
There's
I
always a
don't.
contrarian.
Yeah, there's always somebody out there trying to poo-poo on the party.
Yep.
Um, and then the other thing we wanted to talk about, we go back to it, was you are a big believer in Palantir.
Yeah, I and it kind of goes back. So I used to work with a guy who was really in the tech space a long time ago, and
Hmm.
he I would talk to him daily, and he would just like he's one of those guys where he would just talk to you and talk to you and he'd be like, yeah, you need to buy this stock, man. It's gonna, I'm in the space, I see all this, and you're like, yeah, it's like at the time it was like $7, right? And I was getting into things and looking at it, and it's all about what you know and understand. But he was always been a guy that was kind of a little bit, I mean, on the fringes, right? You'd be like, okay, do you really know what you're talking about? And but he worked in the space, and I got to know him over the years, so I started looking at it a little bit more and more. And I said, you know what? I liked the idea of the company and where it was headed as far as artificial intelligence a little bit. So I bought it at like 25, I believe. And I used to have a lot more of it, right? And then, like anyone, I kind of sold it. I think it went up to about 100 something, and I was like, okay, this is a little bit overheated. I know about the company, but I don't know deeply about the company, right?
Hmm.
So I sold off a bunch at 100, which is fine.
So it's at
But
it's at
yeah,
177
172 or
today.
77 should have
Yeah.
been taken off because they had that earnings report that where it went crazy, but they doubled their revenue or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so it's just been one of those buy and holds. I wish I kept holding it, but yeah, I think it's one of those companies that I caught on to early, but because I have it now, I'm going deeper and deeper into it, right? Um, and it's always you sell a stock when the story changes, and the story has not changed with this one. So we will see on that.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the chart, right? Um, I'm looking at the Thinkorswim, and it goes back. It's about a year to going back. It's like 25 to 180, the high today.
Just smooth left to right, you know. I know the CEO is very controversial,
That
but they
guy's
have a lot of,
crazy.
yeah, I'd be nice about it. But you have, government contracts that Palantir's with, and
Which is most of their revenues from the government contracts, which is to me is a little bit scary. And then the other thing
sure,
is, the government and the administration has hired them to spy on the U.S. population. It's like, okay, big brother, like
yeah,
thanks.
right.
Um, so it's like, okay, so what are the ethics of this company and this CEO? I don't know. I don't think they're that good,
Yeah,
but
I think you need to go deeper and decide for yourself whether you want to stay in that
yeah.
for the long term.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I like him very much. He does remind me a bit of Elon Musk in terms of, the wackiness, in terms
I think
of
you're just looking at his hairdo.
thinking out of the box. No, I mean, he said some stuff like, "Oh yeah, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't like, it was more like, hey, we're gonna do whatever the hell we want to do, and nobody can stop us," kind of, you know?
Mm, yeah,
That kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's like, no, there needs to be some guardrails, and whatnot. But to your point, I did buy a call option on it today.
ah,
Let me tell you exactly what I did, because it's just
like
it's just going higher and higher, right? I mean, it's like, okay,
conviction.
no, not conviction. It's just like, okay, let me roll the dice and see what happens. This thing keeps going higher. So I did buy the October 25 130 call. So it's in the money, and so I'm trying to limit my theta exposure, and I got 72 days left, and
Mhm.
so it's not. It's like I think it's at a 90. The delta on this one is, I'll tell you a second, 91, right? So for every dollar that Palantir goes up, this option will go up 91 cents. So I'm okay with that. It's about a $5,000 bet. And if I could double my money on it, I'll be happy.
Yeah,
So
we'll have to
um,
get an update on that.
yeah, so we'll keep an update on that. And this will be one of our trades. We'll have like maybe we'll have a list of the trades that we're in.
I
Like,
think we
okay,
should have
hey,
a little Alan Matt competition.
Oh, there we go. That's a great idea. Oh
Oh,
man,
you
this is
sweeten the pot a little bit.
yeah, okay. I like it.
Yeah,
So like I don't know what are you talking like? We pick like maybe five stocks or three
yeah, we'll
stocks or
have a little
whatever.
scoreboard and we can put it right up there for you.
Okay. All right. I like it.
All
Cool.
right. In the spirit of
Um,
competition.
yeah, okay. Awesome. We got Lizard King in the house making some comments. He's saying Palantir to the moon. Okay.
Yeah.
And I do think it's like a meme stock now, when you look at the
There's a
valuation,
cult following with Palantir. I
it
mean,
is.
just go on. I mean, you could just go 2 minutes on one of those message boards. And I don't suggest anyone hang out on message boards, but you're just like, it's nuts. I mean, it's crazy.
But yeah, looking at the valuation, it's not that good in terms of the stock price. So it's like way overvalued. The revenue is light compared to what they're supposed to be making at that price point and whatnot. But hey, it is what it is. Let's just play with it. And then we do have another question from Lizard King. And Lizard King, he says that, hey, I signed up for Option Genius. Do you have any tips for a beginner learning iron condors and et cetera, all the other stuff? So what would you say to that, Matt?
Learning iron condors. I think the best thing to do is learn. I'd say that, the condor is like a put and a call together, the way I see it, right? So it's
Spreads,
like,
right? Put spreads,
yeah.
put spread and
Mhm.
call spread.
But I like the idea of learning the put spread and the call spread and then learning the condor, right? Putting it together. So, you know, you're essentially thinking that you won't have, I think of very simply, I think of a condor as a goalpost, right? And you want the ball to go between the goalposts, right? And you have your put and your call. And as long as it doesn't hit these two posts, right, your positions, you're good, right? And you have
Well, sometimes it hits it and ricochets.
someday, but you have, I mean, very simply, the idea is, and you get more evolved into it, but you're putting up basically both goalposts, right?
hmm
Um, it's conceptualized in your mind, but you have the ability to move these goalposts, right? So if the ball starts kind of going towards the put side, you can move your goalpost a little bit wider, right? And the whole idea is to end up with a profit at the end.
Right.
Um, but I think starting with a put and a call or a call either side to understand that is the process before you get into I
Okay.
wouldn't jump right into, I think jumping right into an iron condor is a little tough.
That's actually the route I went. Um,
You jumped right in the condor.
yeah, like the first one I looked at was the covered call.
Mhm.
And I thought that was amazing. I thought that was great, but then I lost money on it. So I'm like, forget this. I
The
need
covered
something
call
else.
is like it's like a mic drop. The first one you do, you're just like, oh, I got it. I figured it
Yeah.
all out. Like there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
But
Just do this every time. It was easy. And like, no, it's not that easy. It doesn't always work. Um, but then, so I was looking around. I did a credit spread on Apple. I remember I had no clue what I was doing. I put it on, forgot about it. And then I got mad because I didn't have the trade anymore. It wasn't in the account anymore. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I'm calling the broker and I'm like, hey, you guys stole from me. And they're like, no, it expired. I'm like, what does that mean?
you're like, you won. What's your problem?
The trade went away. It's gone. It expired. I'm like, oh, I made money. They're like, yeah. Like, oh, okay. So that's when I started digging into, really selling options.
Yeah.
And when I looked at all the different strategies, I saw the Iron Condor, and I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the holy grail, right? I mean, you look for a chart, you look for a stock that's just going sideways,
Mhm.
and then you go on both sides and you double your money, right? It's like I could do a put spread or I can do a call spread, but I can do both and double my money without increasing my risk. Oh my God, I love this. This is awesome. And at that time, the timing was different also. This was bef like 2007, 2008, 2009 when I was doing these,
Ooh.
and it was automatic.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you had the
no,
crash
no,
and
sorry.
so it
So
wouldn't
yeah,
be.
so before the crash, it was like three or 4 years before the crash, and it was
2005 and 6.
yeah. At that
Yeah.
time, it was automatic, and
Yes.
everybody's favorite was the rut. and you do a 45-day iron condor on the rut, 20 deltas, or 10 deltas on each side. And you just wait till it expires and you make more than 10% every month. Clockwork. One after another after another. It was just simple, dead simple. And I'm like, this is it. This is all. And then the financial crisis came, and then
You're like, wait a minute, one of my goalposts just
yeah,
cratered.
and then that changed everything.
Yeah.
So and since then the rut they actually changed how the rut moves, and so the rut is not as valuable or as tradable as it was before, unfortunately. Um, and so so if you're asking like, okay, hey, what are the tips for learning to be an iron condor trader? So I would say
Know
number
what
one,
market you're in, first of all. That's it.
yeah, that'd be the first. Like I would say, you stick to things that don't move a lot. The bigger, the better. So that means indexes, S&P 500, maybe the Dow, um, and then very large ETFs. I would definitely stay away from
Tech.
stocks. I would say from
Especially
stocks,
tech.
yeah, and because you have to be careful on both sides, right? Now, we did the credit spread mastery class just recently, and I think we ended like what, a month ago. And part of that class, it's not included, it's not like part of the class, but it's like, hey, let's look at some condors, right? And so what we're learning live. So I went and I found several condor trades that we put on because they looked great and they were on stocks. And all of them got blown up on the call side because the stocks just they just started lifting. The whole market is going up. Most stocks will go with the market. And so we got hurt on almost every single condor, had to adjust it or had to get out of it or had to, move it to the other side, on the call side, not on the put side. So
Yeah,
going
that's it.
back, I would have been like, okay, yeah, I just want to be selling puts. I don't even want to mess with the condor because I don't want to take the risk on the top side. Right now, I think that's the market we're in, especially if we're going like, hey, I think we're going to be bullish. I think rates are coming down. I think the economy is fine. Uh, I would be less inclined to get into condors at this time because the market is not steady or
Well, I thought
it's not
also,
conducive.
yeah, also there's an added layer of with tariffs and complexity to some of these things, right? That can really throw off some of these condors sometimes.
True, true.
Depends on what you're in.
Yeah, the more volatile you have, the more volatile market you're in, the better trader you have to be because you might have to do an adjustment a lot faster than you expected. Uh, And so, in the past, I remember, the guys who are at Tasty, right? They started Tasty. Um, they're the ones that started Thinkorswim. And so before they started Thinkorswim, they also had like an educational component. And their whole thing at that time was, hey, you just need to sell a 45-day iron condor and do not adjust it at all. Just let the probabilities work out and you'll make money. We've done the back test and it's going to work out great
Every time.
every time.
Every time.
You'll lose sometimes, but you'll over the long run, you'll make money. And that was their pitch. And people believed them because they're like, oh, yeah, we did the back test. And everybody lost on that because it didn't work. I actually had a friend who said, I want to test this strategy. And so I had a version of Option and Explorer, which is for Mr. Lizard King. If you really want to learn the fastest, I would say you back test. You take any particular strategy and you go back in time and you test it, as fast, trade by trade by trade by trade, and that's the way you'll learn it faster. So Option and Explorer um, is a backtesting software that you have to do manually, and so he, he got the Option and Explorer. He actually went and hired somebody. I don't know where he hired them, and he taught them how to use it. Like, hey, when you get to 45, I want you to go here and I want you to sell, put a -2 here and a -10 and the +10, and -10, +10, and then you hit confirm and then you just go through it. And at the end of the month, you write down what happened. And then you do it again and you do it again and you do it again. So he had over 10 years of data on this Iron Condor, which was a 45-day no touch, meaning you don't do anything, you just let it expire. What was the return? Take a guess.
I'm gonna
10,
be
10 years
I'm
of
gonna say
this was on the rut at that time. So, this was in the heyday. This was when the condo were doing really well.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna say 10%.
Zero.
I figured it'd be
It didn't make any money after 10 years because they weren't adjusting.
I mean, how depressing.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was like, what the
I
hell is
mean,
this?
to lose money is depressing. Even making nothing is, it almost seems more depressing.
No, but he was up, the thing
Yeah,
was
of
up, and then
course.
it would come back down, and then it would go up again, then it
Yeah.
would come back down, then it would go down, then it would come out, and after 10 years, you have nothing to show for it. That's horrible. Just because you listen to some guys on YouTube,
Right.
hello, we're on YouTube.
I know. And then you could just be, you could just be like, hey, put it in the market and just hold it. It
Yeah,
would
you
have
would have been better
been
off
better.
just buy and hold.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. So I always tell it, if you want to learn the fastest, you get ahead of some backtesting software. Now, Thinkorswim also has their Think Back,
Yep.
which goes back several years. It's a little bit clunkier, takes longer
Getting better
to,
though. It's getting better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but like I learned to trade on Option Net Explorer a lot. Um, and so I would look at a strategy like on Condors. That's where I learned. I
Mhm.
had the basic strategy, like this is when you get in, this is when you adjust it. These are the similar, these are the adjustments you can make. Okay, now go in and do it, right? And you pick a certain date, like I would go back in time, like okay, 2002, January the 2nd. All right, let's put a
Boom.
trade on. And you walk it through day by day by day, and you see the price change, you see the options change, you see your P&L change, and then you're like, oh no, I got to make an adjustment. So then you would look and you can say, okay, let me look at this adjustment, let me look at this one, let me look, okay, I'll pick this one. And then you go walk it through and you see how that thing actually worked. Um, and
There's nothing better to your point. There, it's just like a football player or back football, but you're getting reps, right? You're hitting buttons, you're thinking through the process, and there's nothing, in my estimation, to as a replacement for that, right?
yep.
So,
So I mean that's the fastest way I know to learn the Iron Condor. The other thing is um we have some materials in OptionGenius right now, Lizard King or Mr. King. I don't know what to call you. If you tell me your real name, I'll just call you your real name. But it sounds funny calling you
is
Lizard
there
King. Lizard King 917. But so there's some materials in that membership right now. I can tell you we are working on the club, which is it's going to encompass a lot more content and it'll have what's known as Iron Option Genius right now, along with other things, including the Iron Condor course that we have. I don't know when that's going to launch, but if you want to learn right away, the Iron Condor course is um, a really good one because we go through everything in there, and that'll get you up to speed very quickly. Obviously, you can ask us any questions whenever you want, and we're here. So, if you want, you can even like if you have a trade that you are thinking of doing, hop onto one of these calls, give us the strikes. We'll take a look at it. We'll share the screen and we'll take a look at it and we'll give you some ideas. So whatever we can do to help, we are here for you and for everybody else. So thank you all for watching. We're done. You got anything else, or are we done for today?
I think we're good. We got a possible market power trade. So
We
we
got
got
a possible market power trade.
an active
Uh-uh.
week.
Yeah. Um, and so make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the little bell. I don't know where the bell is. But if you're in the bell, here read the bell so then whenever we go live, you'll be notified. Be like, hey, they're going live. And give us some comments, put some comments in the thing, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let us know what you thought. If you agree with us, let us know. If you don't agree with us, tell us why. We'd love to hear your side of the story. Um, and if you have any questions, we are here to answer and help. So that's what we're doing. And Lizard King saying he's in the trade school part of the content right now and learning from scratch. So awesome. That's great. just reach out to us and let us know where you're stuck, and we'll go from there. But really, aren't the Option Genius has some stuff in it. If you get stuck more, let us know. I might have some other stuff that I can send you, but I do think there's stuff in there. So, but yeah. Thank you
Sounds good.
for doing it, and we'll see you guys all on today's
Friday.
Wednesday, right? Friday. So Friday, 1 o'clock Central, same time, and until then, trade with the odds in your favor, guys.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.